Everybody. I don't know if who all's gonna show up right now. I didn't let anybody know I was going live. How is everybody? This video is not timestamped, but I'm recording it on December 26, 2020. And it's a trippy time out here on Earth. And I tuned this video for you to receive the information that I give you. And this information comes from Soul Akashic experience of walking through Ascension. Not only once, but many times my soul has gone through Ascension and is actually an ascended being that came here to bring Ascension, is the best way to describe it. And if you have a lot of Libra in your chart, then you have that automatic understanding of what I'm talking about. It goes real deep because it's not just about that. Because where did Libra come from? Libra is a certain area of the star systems that go up to Arcturus and then up into an Ophiuchian alignment, which we were just talking about, which we just had on this planet. And this is Christ consciousness. Now, when we talk about what that means, what does that mean? That means that a lot of things that were down here were not done of universal law. And what does that mean? Well, we didn't know and remember either. But this planet is under ascension. You're not under attack. There's no invasion coming. The invasion is ourselves waking up in your DNA, waking up in you that was always being siphoned from you. Your energy that was always, as a human, your gift to be here and to come to this earth to do things as a collective. You make money for being here. And in a true organic understanding, you even get paid to come here because you energetically make energy here. It's not something that's held in a gate and controlled in Wi-Fi and those types of things. No. It's not. That is what is going on right now, is that's a massive reset of natural organics. Now here's the thing. When I come on like I did last time, I was dealing with the beings that already knew about this. Because there's two groups. Oh, there you are. There's a Libra. So y'all know. Because us Libras have been dealing, this goes into the double simian. This goes into the galactic human. This goes into why we all came here to Earth, because it's time. And on this video, what I want to talk about is because, we cleared an area in space ain't never been cleaned before. We cleared Akashic libraries of the human existence back down to first family, first daughter, first. Everything had to be reenacted here on Earth. Everything had to be reenacted by somebody walking Earth. That was what being connected was all about. Being able to be connected into your lineages to know what to do when shite hit the fan. Well, it's energetic. We always knew it wasn't what we thought, right? I mean, that's what everyone always told us. And when I say us, understand that I was just like you. If you're just now finding this video, I was just like you in 2017 before May. My lights just got turned on. And all us that came before you, that's exactly what happened to us. In a lot of different ways. Whether it was a death in the family, or it was losing a business, or it was losing a lover, or it was losing something. There was some traumatic event that sprang us into an action that changed the course of our lives in a better way now that we've gotten through it. Now, when you first start out and you're in the middle of it, and see now, and now I'm talking to my ascended crew, because this is the same thing that when you're in the middle of an experience, you can't see it. When you're in the middle of your own illusion, when you're in your own magic, you can't see it. I've traveled all over the United States waking up most powerful beings, because this is what I teach, right? What's your form of famous? What's your form of famous? Because now what I'm saying is those of us who have already walked this path, and those beings like me who brought this ascension here to this planet, because everybody's going through it right now. I don't care who you are. We're all connected, and it's fixing to reset into another cycle of the planets helping the collective get. This planet is under ascension. That bombing that went off is because that grid in AT&T needed to go down. Why aren't we talking about the fact that that brought down all planes in the area? That's my point. And here's the thing, I don't have to order nothing or do nothing. You put it out in the consciousness, somebody will take care of it, and nobody was hurt. You know why we have to do it like that? Because the government and everybody knows what I'm talking about. That's my point. There's two levels of things going on right now, but either one, I want everyone to understand that's watching this, you're no longer being controlled. You're no longer being controlled, and those gates are no longer open. It's done. What's happening now is that either you're going through the first time of having to clear, and see, this is where people that haven't really got to spend time with me, that have just met me as somebody that showed up on their doorstep, or and they're like, oh my God, why can't you just go to the store and do this? Why can't you just, what's the big deal? Just go get this and do this. Just go get this. No. Evidently, it is a big deal, because my intent is to go do that, and why am I having to jump through all these hoops? Now, sometimes there's a reason to go through them, because you need to for family clearing, and that's what I want to talk about right now, because each being has to go through your own family lineage clearing to claim your family lineage. That's why you're here. You're here to course correct from the World War II. So those of us who just walked this, who walked all the way through it, and you're going to hear more and more of our stories, because there's a certain way that we'd like to tell this, and this isn't how we want to tell it. But understand that nothing's attacking you. You were hit by a car on a street bike last week. I was going to be full certified air. But you got kicked out of the Air Force because the Air Force was not your friend. You got hit by the car. Now that was a lineage thing, because that's how it worked in the system down here. If one of us got hit by a car for a power source, because that's what you were, this planet was not being run by what you would think is human beings. So we were all on these energetic strings, and That car event is connect. What I'm trying to say is you get hit by that car in 2012 is connected to me getting hit by the car in 2006 in Plano, Texas, where they have the $59 billion mile now. That was all connected back in AT&T's backyard, which leads me back to Texas, which leads me back to the circuit and like the power grid, and then all the other star seeds that were hit by cars. Some little fender benders, some not. Some of us are power sources to where, especially us older ones, and especially those of us that since 2018 were leaders in the community within this consciousness, the collective takeover. The more, because we're all set up as a collective to have different strength, like that's how we work together. You know, that's what's really cool now, and that's, you know, the good news is this is where we're back to, right? Because the people that are around me that are clean, you know, we get to know, hey, you're good at this and I'm good at this. Hey, can you grant me a wish? I'll grant you a wish. You know, you write it, I'll say it, and let's draw a picture, you know, because we know how our manifestations work together. But that's the same thing from the other end. And so that's also how you clean your grandfather's lineage, or you course correct time, because really that is what you're doing. You're course correcting time, because time is an illusion, and this is so basically every setup, which for those of you that are from the royal families, I mean, we were set up all over the goddamn place. So it's like, if your father was framed or did time, you know, or this or was manipulated into doing something bad, or whatever, even was just in the movies and signed Masonic contracts and government contracts like I didn't realize, you know, my name on every ExxonMobil, half of the ExxonMobil consultants when I was 27 years old was that big of a deal. But now I understand why. So what I'm saying is a lot of events that'll start happening in this higher chain, not the ones that have cleared. I mean, not the ones that are clearing. Not if you just found this channel and you're going through Ascension. I'm talking about the ones that know that they've been through their stuff and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like stuff is still happening. I'm explaining to you why it's happening. Because you called in or wrote or asked to get something, or have your true love, or have that business, or open your blissness, or call back your family's lineage, whatever you did. Then there's going to be events that are going to show up in your reality mimicking those same timelines where your forefathers were hijacked or whatever, or maybe just resetting up the scene, because that's what scenes are. A scene, the lineage. Because around the scenes, when you're around the scene beings like me, we set it up. When we do a blood clearing, it's like the whole reality changes, because it'll set up and show us what happened. It's fucking nuts. But now that's because that's what we do as a collective. We always have, when your brain is clear, when you're fully cognizant of what it is that you're manifesting and what's coming in and what's talking to you and what's not. See, you think you are, but you're not. I guarantee it. The deeper that we get in this, and the more that we had to go through, dealing back all the way to those vampiric original lineages, which, you know, look, the world was a vampire, literally. You're birthing a heart. This was some no normal shit going on down here. Everything did get really weird. So now I want to bring back, so just know that anything that's coming up in your reality, know that it's attempting to interact with you. Now, don't be scared of it, because no matter what it is, you need to face it head on. And then understand why it's there. And then understand it most likely has nothing to do with you as a person, you as, why is it happening to me? No, you already cleared that down there. Now you're trying to get somewhere. This is Earth. You still have to alchemize and make shit happen. It's not just going to show up on your front lawn. If it does, then it's not going to stay very long. Haven't we learned that? I hope so, as a society. That's the main lesson. So when we talk about those of us who did shadow work, because this is why I really wanted to pull this in, because, I mean, towards the end, now I know why so many of us, and those are here right now, that have been doing shadow work. And if you have sisters, please, that have been doing, and brothers that have been doing tons of shadow work, please send them this message. Because, see, everybody wants to give light and dark and this, but here's the truth. You know, Venus and Sananda is Yahshua, Yahshua is Jesus. We signed up to play some of the bad roles. Why? Because then we could come here and take it over and change it. And here's what we learned. Anything that you think is human down here, like, how could they do that? Exactly. And you have to realize that everybody down here was under mind control. Nobody was running this ship. Nobody. Nobody. There was not nobody conscious down here. There wasn't. We literally had to collect back into the collective, into the human consciousness, but I can tell you how we did it, but that's not what this video is about. Do not be scared of what you think is shadow. Stop reacting and manifesting for what you would consider the other side. If you don't think it, you can't make it so. Honk. You know, I've been under some major attacks here, finalizing this thing and working up into all this, because you know we had to be led to the front door to do it. So when we talk about Jedi Princess mind control, I'm not joking. You know, I can be on the phone messaging somebody, and then all of a sudden someone's sending me panic messages that's trying to take over my energy to panic me about something. And they're sending projections of horrible things happening, and I'm like, what the fuck? Where is that coming from? Exactly. Where is it coming from? I refuse to believe that is what's going to happen. I refuse to even accept that to be true. And let me tell you guys something. I've met a lot of powerful beings because I had to clear all y'all. Okay? And we hadn't got to sit down and talk about this because we was on this mission. But I know for a fact that there are mothers that have manifested the deaths of their own children because of handlers around them feeding them the information that they were dead, and then the emotional reaction that that woman had then allowed them to kill the son. Now look, that's not nobody's fault, but holy shit, I'm not kidding. Your emotional reaction to anything is so powerful. I want y'all to think about The Simpsons. The laughter is actually more concreting than the fear. Now, a lot of us cover up and instinctually dry humor is and has been our coping mechanism. And I get that. But realize that's what you're doing. Don't make light of it. And remember your laughter and your emotion, and whatever you put it in is powerful. That's all I'm saying. I think I cut all energetic cord dystocities and negative polarization done, attachments cut. But you're zero, let's see, but you're zero. I agree with you. You want negative attachments cut. I agree, and so it is. But what I want you to see is that when that happens, then you're a 0 point field on Earth, and then you make decisions, and nothing's free down here. It's not the devil. It's what do you want. See, and this is Ascension. Because all the family lines are clear. We already did it. So just like Athena cut those cords like she just did and keep cutting them, and then realize that you're 0 point and then you're moving. Devastation of this year's biggest weather events. You're moving at 0 point, right? Okay. Now you're going to write your own story instead of somebody writing it for you. Just make sure you're writing it. When you write it, then pay attention because it's going to show up real quick. Now, those of us who cleared the shadow, and if you have any Scorpio placements in your chart, okay, you were here to master your emotion of your magic. And you're magical, but you're here in training. If you don't have any Scorpio in your chart, then you've already mastered it. You don't have an excuse. That's why you get karmic backlash from it quicker. There's a lot of things we learned. And then everything down here is Gemini. It really is, because it's light and dark, and it merges. And each time you make a new energetic connection, you're going to have a shadow of it most of the time show up first, just because you're in Ascension. And so this is a quantum leap. So you have the chance to go from this here to this out here. But you just got to get through this little thing right here, because you've already built it, you've already imagined it, you've already got the consciousness to do it. You don't need to start as an anchor. You've already been on YouTube. You've already been, and before you activated, you were doing this, and this, and this. So it's like, now you're fully telepathy, so now you've been producing some shit. So it's like, but that's because your forefathers were running the whole goddamn broadcast station, and that's where you're heading. In your human mind, you think, okay, I've got to do this and start here. No, that's my point. Roll the dice. What's coming in your direction? You have power over it. You're writing it. Don't be scared of it. If something, and we've seen it over and over and over again in our crew, how the hell you think we got us all out of there? The only thing we did was flip everything that was coming at us to help us. And then the only thing we did is every single transaction we did, every intent, every time I did anything, I had everybody tell me their intent eventually after I learned that I needed to do that, if you know what I mean. And then it, even if it didn't happen to be exactly what I thought I wanted, it always shows up in my life with the full intent and in ways that blow my mind. Always. And then I learned a lesson. Or not. Am I ready? Or, or sometimes it's like, oh crap, man, forget that. Scratch that off the list. We did that with cannabis and stuff. We were like, well, okay, shit. Now we're getting deep. All we did was write down that we wanted to go do this, this, and that as a crew. And then all of a sudden I end up having in a mafia pit dealing with government cannabis crap. Because that's what it was going to take to clear it in order for us to go down that route. Well, we tabled it for a while. Because energetically, we're Ascension. We're clear. Our money's clear. Everything's clear. Everything has to be cleared in your life. The shadow is there to show you where what you would consider the power faction had their control mechanism. So it's like how I describe it is, okay, we're all hybrids now because we are. And it's like instead of having to take a rail line to Einstein and one to Tesla and one to the Ming Dynasty, well, now there's a button in between. Well, thanks for the button. But whenever we figure out that there's a button, then something might go off in your reality or in the world or whatever it is. Now you know what the power of that button is. Now you know that that's what energetically you have connection to and you control. Now you've got a button. You don't have to like roll 3 lines and anchor them and skate tightrope. Hi, Valerie. You've got a button. That's how I look at it. Now, when that button goes off the first time, sometimes it might blow up, kind of like Pandora's box in your life, because you're just now getting to this other dimensional version of you. Because you're bringing back in your code. You've called in back your full self. And from the inside does your soul glow out through your skin, because your soul has a frequency and your body has a frequency.
Hey.
I'm on YouTube.
Oh, where's mom and sister?
The store.
Okay.
DC and out. So your soul, your body is like, if you're like me, you were hybridized in order to hold this energy. There's some of us that were hybridized. This is what the world didn't know about. And then but then the most of the world then incarnated into whatever family line you came to reset and change. And there's really only a few there's one bodysuit, and there's really 4 blood types, and that's it. And then the rest of it is hooked into energetic star systems, what it is. So then you're a human, you're in that, but you've got to balance those energies here on Earth. So then you want to get closer and closer and closer and closer to your connection. Well, that's what Ascension is, and now you don't have a choice. You can get up. Once you get out, once your soul is free, you can really do whatever you want. Now, the problem is you have to work with the collective. You can't just sit there and do nothing. You can't just no longer just go into your closet and dream about it. Number one, you can't do that because you have to live it. You're creating your own life. Somebody's not writing it for you. So all the work and etheric work that you do does show up in your life. I've proven that over and over again. So at some point, you're going to have to walk it. You start walking it by figuring out what you love to do. And it takes a little bit to figure out what you love to do. That's okay, I went through that. It's all a process. But I'm talking about the ones that like me, that are like this Christmas, we're sitting here going, we knew it was going to get better. what we saw was way better than this, and we didn't understand. But then if you look around, it is way better. It couldn't get any better. It really can't, because the collective is we're rewriting. We've got Mars going over Andromeda right now with a collective rewrite. Your intent will hold anything. No one can write over your story unless you allow it. Know that your power and know your faith. And remember, everything has consciousness. This is the key. But also remember that humans don't do anything unless you're pushed into a wall to do it. And the shadow beings know that more than anything, because to be a master that teaches Dr. Strange, where do you get that information? How do you figure out that you can do the things that you can do? Most of the time when you're pushed up against the wall and it's the last effort, because otherwise you'd have thought you crazy to even think and try. But if someone's coming at you, all of a sudden you got it, right? So understand that a lot of the times your soul is doing it to you. You're doing it to you. It's like I do it all whenever I slap myself in the face. I'm like, why'd I just slap myself in the face? What's going on? Look around. And then if you walk the shadow, then really understand that what that was to bring compassion and emotion to a situation, to an unjust, to whatever it was. And understand this, there is nothing in this matrix, and I'll end it on this because I need everyone to understand it, because I've witnessed it, I've got out, I know how to do it, I've done it, I didn't get arrested. They were trying to arrest me in Kentucky for some bullshit, little something stupid, a little bit of weed shake in a box, but they were there to help a girl that I was there to help because her husband was beating her. But whenever I got there, I knew I was on a timeline walking from my father because of all this stuff with Santa Fe Railroad and all these things that were going on and all the healing work that Casey and I were doing for the A negative bloodline. And in the middle of it, they said it's like they knew where I was and they were coming after me. They were going to arrest me. And I just kept knowing I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't illegally buy that weed. I just bought it in California for a cop that had a bigger gun than the guy that was there to arrest me. And I didn't live there, and I wasn't from there. And if this is a problem, I'll leave, but why are you on me for the little shake in this box that can't even cover parsley? Now, I wasn't saying it this calm. The house felt like it was shaking. Everyone else said, because I was like, you ain't putting me in there. I'm not doing anything wrong, and why are you not here helping this woman? Why are you messing with me? And then all of a sudden the scene changed. And then a younger cop came, and then by the end of the day, they had taken the 2 kids into custody to get them safe, and then they released her into my care. The one that they were going to the whole scene changed. You can change because, why? Because you're speaking truth for the collective and you're right. You're speaking it into existence, and your heart connection will hold it. The only way they could have got me is if I thought I had done something wrong, but I knew I didn't. So when you're dealing with the matrix and when you're dealing with any other situation of any communication on anything that's 3D, contracts, and that's even just not written contracts, but you know, hey, me and you are working on this project, and you're doing this and I'm doing this, and our intent is to do this. That's a contract. You're speaking intent. You don't even have to write it anymore because it's going in telepathy, and now you're connected into that project until you opt out. If you want to opt out, that's cool, right? There's no hard feelings. It's not jiving. Cool. But then no, then you're creating another direction. Don't turn around and talk about the other bubble, because then you're going to create karma with whatever it is. Don't do that. And karma is a funny thing. 35 minutes, 23. Karma is a funny thing, okay? Because when you walk it at 0 point, and because we've been researchers on the ground, right? Understand that, especially those of y'all watching this channel, and if you're a man, be careful what you say about any of your women around you right now. Because you don't understand what your words and the sheer power of how, especially if you're a hybrid, you don't understand that whenever you get mad at one, what you're doing. When you use that much emotion and rage, it really does project us into that reality right now. That's number one, and I'm not joking. Number two, understand that if someone comes and tells you that they've paid your karma, listen. Because those of us that came, that's what we did to get here. There's different lines, different lineages that we laid past to for everyone to get out. There's different ways you can get out. You can get out by focusing on your hair. You can focus on even digital currency when we're done with it. It really is. Ascension is in a lot of ways a game. You've got to get through it, and you need to learn how to flow and roll with it, so that because you're burning through dimensions and you're clearing cycles, and you're clearing through neurons that were trapped in your body at the same time, making a better connection. It's like everyone has to get through it. We can tell you, we can help clean you, but that's not it. When you do a blood healing or something like that, now you've got to deal with all that in your physical life. People are going to show up to reenact it, to see if you're going to make the same mistake again. But it could be a jar of pickles this time that you're buying, and you're deciding 2 labels. But before, on another timeline, it was the Constitution you were signing. Are you at the store buying pickles? Are you somewhere signing a contract? Well, that all depended on if you were following your guidance or not, and how you work in the chain of that pickle factory. Just because you might have been picking out the pickles doesn't mean one of your sisters and brothers isn't buying the factory at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Maybe your job is to buy the printing company, so then the sister picking out the pickles ends up at online searching for colors all day long on stationery, and you don't know why. Well, that's why. You're already hooked into something, and it's all going up. It's you get to decide where you play. And right now, this is where the biggest shift is taking place within everybody, because it's almost like a little flip-flop going on between these two communities. Because the truth is, the ones that were being led by the underworld wanted out. The truth is, the ones that had that it was like their only way of survival, because they thought that someone else was controlling their power. And that's not it. Now there's a whole group that whatever, but they don't got no more power. They'll get it, whatever. It's like little pussycats right now. But the ones that do know and were being controlled and couldn't get out and didn't know how, now there's nothing holding you back to do the right thing. And that is what has changed in the world. You know, when I was going, because I came up through corporate world, you know, my stuff's all been corporate. Y'all have only seen me as Cosmic Christie, but I was in Fortune 100 since 1996, when the last timeline flipped happened. But I can tell you that was set up on John Voight and Varsity Blues in Austin, Texas. Shit's trippy down here on Earth, the way they's running it. 96 will take you to 69, like that. 1969. The way it was on repeat. So that's why number codes and things are changing, and Tesla codes and stuff like that. They're like astrology now. You use them to understand your DNA. Technology was only ever built to show you could program your body, because your body is the tech. Always has been. And this was the illusion. Now, we're so powerful, it's scary down here. And the truth is, when I meet people, most of the time, you're scared of your own power. And whenever I'm degridding wizards and witches and connecting the bloodlines and on y'all, it's like once you activate, then you start looking around and seeing how you set up, how you hid so long. How'd you hide your wizardry? How'd you hide your magic? How'd you do it? Because that's what you did. You set up just a little tick so that voice wouldn't quite manifest everything, because you knew it wasn't quite right yet. Just figure out what the little tick is. I've seen it over and over and over. And that's what, when you look at your chart. But whenever you're talking about Scorpio, understand, you know, everybody is like, oh, I'm Scorpio. Yeah, I like to have sex. Or I'm a mystery man. Yeah. Why? That's your superpower. So are you just giving it all away? Well, then no wonder you have that placement. But then understand, once you have that placement, you've got more power than those of us that have mastered it now down here. So if sexual energy is your magic wand, and then you just need to understand how to do it purely and consciously and keep it clean, and understand that you're taking in DNA from everybody, and it's keeping you backwards if you're having sex. And all these girls that are running around these festivals doing these guys, you're clearing everybody's bubble for them. Saw some crazy shit. But know that sexual energy is your superpower, right? And we need you to understand that, because heck, then clean it up, clean yourself up, call in the right mate, so that then you can do what you love and manifest what you love and keep it clean and conscious. That's it. If it's emotions, then understand you got to master those, and you can't go off on people, and it's powerful when you do, and it hurts people. And if we just all start talking to each other about, hey man, it hurts me whenever you put your arm up like that in a conversation, and I didn't know I cut off the hole. I didn't know that if there was 5 of us standing in a group and my mind got lost and then all of a sudden I went like this, that I cut off the whole group. You have to tell me that I'm holding up the conversation. I didn't know. Don't get mad at me. Okay, now I know I have to stay super conscious through the whole conversation. Well, then you're definitely going to know if I'm not tuned in. But now we know. Don't get mad at somebody because they're doing something, but until you tell them so that they know. Because we're so powerful, we don't know. And look, I'm going to end it on this when we talk about realms, because when you send love up here from this higher realm, you don't know how many dimensions it has to clear to get down to where you're sending it. And you don't know where the being is that you're sending it to. Now, here's what happened. We were in Queens Valley this summer. We were in Arizona. It was a pivotal point. A lot of energy was going on. This was this summer. And actually a palm tree lit on fire with lightning there where this happened. And we had a crew member that was in the Netherlands that was attached to all of us, helping us and doing her part. And there was a lot going on, and she sent a powerful intention of love to where we were all staying. Now, I had left, and I wasn't there. It was 2 or 3 days later, and realized too, like when you call something in, it's not going to hit the ground for 2 or 3 days, but it will hit the ground in 2.5 to 3 days. It takes that long to go from here to here, but it only takes that long. So one of the people that was at the house that I wasn't quite sure, and I'm still not, was she friend or foe? Because you have all these shadow, because we were walking it. We were all cleaning our family shit. We're still, some of us going, oh my God, what was that? She found a rattlesnake. I was gone, but she lifted a bucket and it showed to be a rattlesnake. Now that could be interpreted a few ways, right? The first thought that I had was I knew it was from Lena, and that she had sent a powerful energy of love, but when it got to our dimension, that it manifested, because we were in the desert, we were in Arizona, we were on top of a mountain, and it manifested as a snake in that dimension, which is part correct. So at first it was polarized, right? But then I don't know yet. Maybe it was the love that was showing me that wasn't friend or foe in that moment, because I'm still not sure, because I haven't met her fully ascended again from our journey. So that's an example of how powerful your intentions are when you send them to somebody. And this is exactly why people were taking everybody's names, and all the entertainers were getting, different people were pretending to be them. This is why Prince changed his name to a symbol. Your name matters. Claim your name, not an inanimate object. Claim your name. Then you can change it. But don't claim yourself to be just an inanimate object and exit everything else that you can. You can, but New Earth has for not even 5 years to build and to resurrect and to build infrastructure that we can bridge over to. And then after that, we don't know what's going to happen. So you can just exist and act like you're nothing, and think that your house is still going to be there, and the land that you're on is still going to be there, and that all of it's just going to be provided for you like it just always has through existence. But I'm here to tell you that's karma. No, it won't be. Because you can't just do it like that. You can't just leave it to the rest of us that are the collective compass to come do it all. You see what I'm saying? That's karma. But that's what it is. We had to learn it. We didn't know that we were self-existing. We didn't know that our voice was that powerful. We didn't know. We had to learn through getting our ass beat and figuring out that's what it was. And that's what mastery is. So also realize that most of the time, if you see evil, it's because in that realm, you're seeing yourself somehow. Don't judge it. Get rid of, figure out what the root of it is and fucking pluck it. Just don't judge it. Because then if you judge it, it can get in you. You're meeting it to transmute it because it was always there. You just didn't see that aspect of yourself. If you judge it, then that aspect stays within you. Then it's like if you judge it or you get angry, and it's okay to. It's okay to judge it and just realize that until you stop judging it and get angry at it, it's not going to go away because you're electrically charging to that timeline and it's going to keep shocking you until you don't. All right, guys, this has been about 50 minutes. I want to thank y'all. This has helped me process some of this stuff for me and what's all gone down. There is still a lot of illusions clearing. For the Mars is just now linked into Andromeda. This is the rewrite. Andromeda was an empty space that was running a CD-ROM. Now it's not. The collective is now writing and has written what's about to go down. You're seeing it now. We were right the whole time. That was a grid that blew. People are coming outside. You're welcome, and thank you for thanking me. But you don't have to thank me, just help us. Help us spread the word. We're finally stable here. I'm even sitting under an arch, y'all. It's like, Misha set this up. It's like literally we've got like BJ. Anybody wonder why it's like that? I know. It is the day after Christmas. But we made it through, okay? And it's a trippy thing that just happened down here. We're still making light of it. We're still understanding it. But look, we made it through it. The Ascension lineup happened. I'm seeing it in my reality. I can testify to the change. Just put the swords down. I know it's hard. And I'm really like I'm talking to y'all so I don't let my mind go crazy because it is like war PTSD. You know, especially, and this is mastery, changing it real quick. You know, there's a time to be that way and then you got to turn it off. You know, that's mastery. It's perception shift. They're key. And this is hardest though, but understand that you're also being washed of a lot of things right now that you just don't need to remember so that you can get on with what you do need to remember and not have an operation shock treatment to your surroundings because of what some of us just went through. But that's the whole world. So just have compassion and just know and tell everybody it's okay. The scenes that you're seeing play out all around the world, and we're about to have a wash that's about to go across the United States. It's hitting Monday here in California. I just saw it, a complete water, snow going from west to east. Where that snow falls, those are energy grids of money grids that were being held above. So where there's more snowfall, then you better bet they were siphoning that energy right there. So those are grids that are disconnecting, they're falling. help us manifest what comes next. And the lights came on. We have reclaimed Earth and the human body and the human race. And now everybody's activating to a hybrid gene count in order to sustain the Earth atmosphere shift that we're heading to when we drop the density in less than 5 years that was holding us down because we were not in the area of space that we should have been in with the energetic bodies that are here now. So there's a catch up. There's some Pulp Fiction for you that has to be done. And this is Ascension, and this is evolutionary shifts. And normally we'd have an ice age, and there wouldn't be very many of us. Not everybody's gonna make it. And there's a lot of things that you don't know. And I always say I'll end on this, and then there's one more thing, but I'm really ending on this. I'm only 48 years old, okay? I was born in 1972. Now, where I grew up in Bryan College Station, Texas, and how I grew up as a little girl, in your mind, you'd probably associate to around 1920. My grandmother had a party line when I was a little girl, stuff like that. And I saw every invention of tech, from microwave to VHS. I was in the first MRI machine ever put in Texas. Now, when I got to 8th grade, which would make me what? So this was like 1983. When I went to world history, we had Prussia, and we had Eurasia. Not all separate countries, not all separate sets of beings, not all different races. In my lifetime. Now, with everything else I know now, I understand. I just want you guys to wrap your head around it. From my perception. And this is the thing that has been forgotten. There's way too many that just don't remember certain things. Now we do. And we call in all the Dharma right now for all the Star Crew and all of us that cleared the shadow and every single pain and tear that we have cried and every salt that is laid on this earth that we have given through the Leophale, through the Teophale, through the Blue Blood, down through every Moravian king, down through every lineage of the Hopi Indians, freaking all of it that they put on us to clear because that's what they did to manifest it. So now they're all our people. And a long time ago, I called in the trash because they was trying to put trash in my field. But see, I love the trash because the trash is the truth. So you can basically think of all me and my crew as being what they considered the trash. But guess what? Trash saved the world. What does that make you? Shiny and new. But this is how we did it. Intent and power and cleaning it.